Good morning. So if you're in America, good morning. If you're in the UK, good afternoon. So today I wanted to talk to you about why perfectionism is stealing your money and your joy. Perfectionism that you didn't even know you had. And stay until the end of the video because there's going to be a bonus surprise. So the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because this has been quite an intense conversation that I've had with one of the clients, with one of my one-on-one clients. So perfectionism is something that I have avoided the title of for quite a long time because I feel like people usually don't know when they're being a perfectionist. And that's the reason why in this video I'm going to tell you that regardless of what you call yourself, you probably do have some perfectionist tendencies. And so in this video I'm going to talk about why it's literally stealing your money and your joy. Not your happiness, your joy, your long-term joy. So the conversation that we were having with this client of mine was that he came to me because he was wanting to find his why. And if you don't know what your why is, watch my previous video on how to love the shit out of what you do. But he came to me because he wanted to find his unique why. And the reason why he wanted to find his unique why was because right now he's in a job that he doesn't particularly like. He can so that once he finds his why, he can actually start to know, okay, I want to start a business. What can I start my business in, etc., etc. So the problem was that he has tried to find his why 4 times now. By the time he came to me, he had had 4 why discoveries and he still hadn't found his why. So the problem that was that I was like, okay, we'll do another why discovery session, but I can tell you that we're probably not going to find your perfect why again. So which is exactly what happened. We had a why discovery session, and by the end of it, even though we had a why, it didn't resonate with him. And this happens quite a lot. So this whole idea of finding your purpose, finding your why, is built up so much that it's kind of put on a pedestal of this must make me feel this way, it needs to have this kind of meaning, it must be unique in this way. So every time that this guy found his why, he wasn't getting anywhere near to actually resonating and finding that feeling. So I was like, look, you came to me to overcome this block that you're facing when you're trying to find your why. You didn't come to me just to have a 5th why discovery session. So let's see what's really going on here. And the last session that we had 2 hours of solid, intense perfectionism tendency breaking down session, basically. And I wanted to share it with you because I guarantee you that you are seeing some of these tendencies in your own life. So the way that you can tell if you have a perfectionist tendency is if you put conditions on you being able to do something. So something like, for this client, for example, when I find my why, I'll be happy. When I find my why, then I can start to choose what business I want to set up. When I have more time, or when I complete my house move, I can then start to pursue my dream. When I make more money, then I can start to focus on what I love doing and something that makes me happy. When I ask my partner, then I can invest in your course, whatever. So if you have if you put conditions on your ability to be able to do things that you know are going to empower you, that you know are going to be bringing you a step closer to joy, a step closer to the life that you want to create, a step closer to making the impact that you want to make on the world, then you have perfectionist tendencies. And the thing about putting conditions on these things, when I do this, I can do this. When I do this, I can do this, is that you are literally handing your power away on a plate to the rest of the world. So it suddenly becomes, your mission suddenly becomes a way of getting approval from other people or things. You're constantly seeking approval in order for you to move on. And when you hand your power away, you know what happens? Your potential to impact the world, your potential to make money, your potential to experience immense joy just gets given away to someone. It gets given away. And so suddenly someone else that doesn't really care about how happy or joyful you are or anything like that now has their power in their hands. How scary is that? when you have no control over how much money you make, how much impact you make, how much joy you have, because you have chosen to give away your power by putting conditions on you being able to do something. The second reason why your perfectionist tendencies is literally stealing your money and your joy comes down to the principle of what you focus on expands. And when we want something, when we want to create something, so in this client's case, when we want to find your why, we focus on the lack of it. And when you start focusing on the lack of it, what happens is this: you start noticing the void that you have left inside of you because you don't have this thing that you want to achieve. So whatever that is, you're not making the impact that you want to make, you're not making money you want to make, you're not happy as you want to be. So you end up in this situation where you focus on the void that you have left because of the lack of it. And the more you notice the void, the more you want the thing. The more you want the thing, the more you realise you don't have it. The more you realise you don't have it, the bigger that void gets. So it's a self-fulfilling cycle. What you focus on expands. And I have a really good example of this when I was driving along the motorway, and I actually had a canoe on the roof racks as well, and I saw this truck, and it had some really interesting graphic design on it, or some kind of advertising on it. And it was hard to read, so I was trying to actively read it while I was overtaking the truck. And I started steering towards this truck without noticing. And at the last moment, I realised, shit, I need to turn around. So I was that close from crashing into a truck while overtaking them with canoes on the top. It scared the shit out of Josh. I wasn't allowed to drive the car for quite a while after that. But it's true. So when we focus, whatever we focus on, that's where we go towards, because how do we go towards something that we don't know where we're looking? There was in the office that I was brought up in, my parents' business's office, there was a little saying in the bathroom, and it said, a ship that has a captain that doesn't know where he's going, doesn't have, okay, I'm trying to translate from Turkish, so it sounds really crap grammar. But a ship with a captain that doesn't know where he's going isn't going to get any good winds helping him go where he wants to go. That is kind of the translation that I can do on the spot from Turkish to English. So that's the second thing. So the first thing is giving away your power by putting conditions on things. That's why it's literally stealing your money and happiness. The second thing is what you focus on expands, and right now you're focusing on the lack of this thing being there. The third thing is attachments to the outcome. When you are attached to an outcome, to something happening. So my client's case was attached to the fact that he needed to find a word this why. When you are attached to this thing happening and you don't have it right now, you've got this void, you adopt this tense body, you adopt this tense attitude, and that tenseness that you feel because of the attachment that you have that this outcome has to happen, means that is the tenseness that you bring to the actions that you need to take for that outcome to happen. And when you bring a tense attitude to taking actions, you just get more of tenseness. You create more of that tenseness. So being attached to the outcome actually makes the energy that you have an energy that is never going to allow you to get that outcome. So when you set a goal, when you decide that this is something that you want, that's a time to focus on, okay, that is a goal that I set. Now release all attachment to that outcome and focus, be incredibly present. And being incredibly present can be really hard. All right, so three reasons why perfectionism is stealing your money and your happiness. 1 is because you're putting conditions on it. 2 is because you're focusing on the lack of it. And 3 is because you are attached to the outcome. So how do we actually overcome this so that we break through this glass ceiling? So number 1, you are going to need to identify the beliefs that you have around the conditions that you've put on yourself. If I get my wife's approval, then I can invest in the course. When I move house, then I can start following my dreams. When I make money, da 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 da. No. Identify what are the conditions that you've put on yourself. So literally grab a pen and paper now. Do it right now. If you're watching the replay, just pause this video and do it right now. Grab a pen and paper and write down, what are the conditions that I put upon myself to achieve this goal that I want to achieve? So whether that's your money, whether that's articulating your why, whether that's being happy, what are the conditions that you put up on yourself? Because if you want to get from X to Y, you're not going to be able to do that if you don't know where X is. So get really crystal clear on what X is. What are the conditions that you put upon yourself that are stopping you? So doing that, you identify where you're giving your power away. Perfect. So now that you've identified where you're giving your power away, you're going to need to start changing those beliefs. So replace those beliefs. Ask yourself, is this belief true? And is this belief useful? And if either of the answer to one of those questions is a no, then you need to replace it with something that is true and it is useful. So you might replace it with, if you have something like, in order for me to be successful, I first of all need to prove myself to my family, for example. Or in order for me to be happy, I need to make money first. So let's say these are the conditions that you put upon yourself. So the helpful and the useful and true belief to replace that belief with that is empowering might be something like, I am so excited about the success that I'm experiencing. I'm so excited about my success, and every day I can feel it more and more. I can feel glimpses of it. So suddenly that belief of your success being attached to something changes from a condition to something that you can just see glimpses of, little here and there. Okay, so change your beliefs. The second thing of how to break through this glass ceiling that perfectionism sets you is start to notice the micro moments in your life where you are already living in line with the goal that you've set, where you can see glimpses of the goal that you've set. If it's success, if it's money, where you've already seen glimpses of that happening. If it's happiness, where you've already seen glimpses. If it's your why, if it's living in line with your why, where you have glimpses in your day-to-day life where you are alive and thriving. So we did this with my client, and he realized, I told him, okay, so when in the last month have you noticed little moments when you really just felt like when you felt like you were living in line with your why? And we ended up with a massive list, and he was like, wow, I didn't even realize. It's so busy just focusing on everything else, right? So one of the clients that I helped find their why, he came to me and he was like, I have no idea how to find my why. We did a why discovery session, and what ended up happening at the end of the why discovery session was that it was like, yeah, like it kind of resonates, but it's just not 100% there yet. So exactly both of them are same scenarios. Both of them at the end of it weren't exactly 100% there. So one of them was gave away their power, being like, well, in order for me to do anything about start a business, I need to find my why first. And my other client actually took responsibility for it and ended up articulating a why that is super in line with him, but he didn't articulate the why first and then start taking action. He started doing more and more things in his life and sharing more and more moments in his life where he felt alive. And the more he started sharing moments in his life where he felt alive, he got acquainted with that feeling of, hey, this is what my why feels like. This is what living in line with my why really feels like. And that's when articulating it came naturally to him. All right, so what you focus on expands. Start to notice some micro moments in your life where you already have achieved that goal and just expand them. Another way of doing this is gratitude, because when you focus on the lack of how much you've achieved this thing, you're going to end up with this void, right? And gratitude is a way of filling that void. The more you can be grateful for the abundance around you, and it's the same kind of thing as noticing the micro moments around you that you already have achieved your goal. It's the same kind of thing. When you notice everything that you're grateful for around yourself, your heart starts swelling. It starts filling that void. And when you start filling that void and taking action from a place of a full heart, rather than like that sense of emptiness you get when perfectionism has overtaken you. That is the type of results that you start attracting. That is the type of reality that you start creating for yourself, because you're coming from a place of a full heart of abundance. All right. So far we got identify the conditions that you put upon yourself and replace them with beliefs that are true and are useful, that are empowering for you. The second one is notice the micro moments in your life where you've already achieved your goal and practice gratitude like your life depends on it, because that is what you're going to be attracting more of. The third thing is releasing attachment to the outcome. And for you to be able to release attachment to the outcome, we talked about why you need to release attachment to the outcome, but for you to be able to do that, you're going to need to start taking imperfect action. Just fucking take action. Just do something. If you feel like your why isn't exactly where it needs to be, just take action. Decide on one thing that you need to do that's going to get you living a little bit closer in line with your why. Decide on one thing. And I was actually giving my client the example of this, that the business idea that he's eventually going to end up with isn't just going to come to him in one go in a perfect, once he's articulated his perfect why. It's going to take some experimenting. So it's always about what avenue will most effectively allow me to live in line with my why right now? What avenue will most effectively allow me to reach my goal that I've set myself? And that avenue might not be the most effective avenue in the world, but with the resources and the skills and the opportunities that you have available to you right now, that is the most effective avenue. So I had a client that once she found her why, she decided that she would love to do music therapy. That's the way that she would want to, that's the way that she wanted to add value to the world. And it was the avenue that would most effectively allow her to have that impact that she wanted to have on the world. But she didn't have the music therapy skills yet. There's a lot of training that needs to go into it. It's a massive career change. So right now, with the skills and resources that she has available to her, the most effective avenue for her to be able to have that impact is through volunteering. So she started volunteering, and then she'll start working, and then she can start training herself part-time to become a music therapist, and then she can become a music therapist. You see, so the avenue that you're going to be taking is going to be different depending on the resources and the skills that you have at the time. So imperfect action isn't something that you're like, oh, I suppose I have to do it. It is the way for you to be able to find that avenue that most effectively allows you to live in line with your why. Okay? So, I want you to write those down, and I actually want you to start applying these, because there's no point you just having this in the theory. There's no point just leaving this in the theory. So everything that I said, go back in the video, write them down in bullet points. And so for those of you that are taking this seriously and really do want to overcome your perfectionist tendencies, I have a 30-day worksheet, 30-day attack planner. And this is something that I go through with my private clients, one-on-one, and its value is up to £500, but I'm going to give it away to you for free. So just comment yes, or yes please, or more info, or whatever, in this video, and I will send it to you. So what it is actually about is, it is about having a customized routine for you to be able to, on a daily basis, do everything that that I went through in this video, so that in 30 days you will have overcome your perfectionist tendencies. So nothing happens just by doing it one-off. It's the consistency that's going to make this effective for you. So if you really want to start making more money, having more joy in your life, and this video resonated with you in the sense that it's been blocking you, then yeah, you're going to need to be more consistent with it. So this 30-day attack planner is going to help you do exactly that. So what I'll do is I'll send you the sheet, and I'll send you a customized routine for you to be able to do every single day. Comment yes or info or yes please or whatever in the comments of this video, and I will reach out to you personally and send you the well, it's a PDF. Like I said, this is actually something that I charge people for. If you comment on this video, it will be free for you. So don't miss it. Comment on this video, and Let me know how you found this video. Hopefully it's been really useful. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.